Donald Trump had one job this week, just one: sign his own name on a piece of paper that he already wrote 6 years ago. And Wednesday was the deadline. He had months of notice to get this done, and what he delivered at the moment of truth was the least Trump-like move of his entire second term. He did nothing. Loudly. And look, 6 years ago, Trump stood at a podium and called the USMCA the largest, fairest, most balanced, most modern trade agreement in American history. And yet this week, on the actual 6-year review deadline, his own trade representative announced that the United States would not renew the deal. Not in its current form, at least. Not for the 16 more years that Canada and Mexico both already agreed to sign. So Donald Trump is apparently waiting until somebody, I guess, flatters him even harder. And Jamieson Greer, the U.S. trade representative, got on a call Wednesday morning with Canada and Mexico and had to tell them that the U.S. didn't agree to renew the USMCA, and it sounds like they were being decisive. The problem with that is that it is the opposite of decisive. By choosing not to sign the deal doesn't expire. Nothing is thrown out the window. Nobody tore anything up. The deal now just gets shoved into a decade of mandatory annual reviews. And the deal is still fully in force while these reviews happen. And Trump, he gets to keep every tariff he already stacked on top of our two closest trading partners. And Canada and Mexico are left going, what the hell, guys, because they were ready to sign the extension. Trump just gave them the trade version of, I'll call you later. Now look, Greer says that the U.S. is going to continue to engage on the deal's shortcomings, which is bureaucratic speak for we're not done complaining yet. And remember, guys, this is Trump's deal. He negotiated it. He signed it. And he spent years calling its predecessor, NAFTA, the worst agreement in history. And he replaced it with this deal. And now his massive upgrade that he personally designed is the second trade deal that he soured on in public while blaming everything, except for the tariffs, on everyone else. Just 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump told everybody, I don't know that I'm going to renew it. But then last month, I would rather not have the agreement, but I may sign it. This is a $1 trillion trade relationship, and he's treating it like a gym membership in February. It's technically active, still running, but emotionally, Donald Trump has abandoned it because of his ego. And look, in the comments, I'm going to ask you guys, with this deal up in the air, and it's in limbo for at least 10 years possibly, what are you going to change about what you buy for Mexican goods, Canadian goods, my all-dressed chips? I'm about to have a panic attack over those. And to our Canadian and Mexican viewers, I know a lot of you guys have been boycotting American products. What is the one American product that you miss? What's the one thing you really want to bring back into your life from the States? But look, all of that aside, I want you to know who's paying for all of this while it's in limbo. Canada already sends roughly 80% of its exports to us, even though they are trying to back away from some of that. Most of that 80% is tariff-free, specifically because of this deal. Mexico, their steel exports are already down more than a third because of Trump's metal tariffs. And yet American industries are the ones suffering. American automakers, soybean farmers, dairy producers have all lobbied to keep this deal going because their supply chains depend on it. So now Trump has just guaranteed that no one on any side of either border can plan more than a year ahead at a time. What is that going to do for American industry, and what is that going to do to help trade? Now, in fairness, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney, he called this in advance. He knew that this was going to happen. Going into Wednesday, he said that he wasn't expecting any drama, just a constructive exchange.
There's a virtual meeting with the three partners tomorrow. We're expecting a constructive exchange. I wouldn't expect any drama tomorrow. I'm not looking for my pen, and I am looking forward though to being both in well, actually 3 places, Nepean, in Ottawa, and Edmonton tomorrow for Canada Day.
And he was right. There was no drama. Just now, we're left with a decade of uncertainty, which, because Taco Trump exists, is the drama. Trump's going to huff, he's going to threaten to walk, and eventually he's going to sign a very similar version of this deal because it lets him claim toughness without changing a single damn thing. It is Taco Trump. Trump always chickens out. Now look, I do see the arguments from the MAGA types. They're pointing out that there is a legitimate gripe in this deal. There is a loophole that allows Chinese goods to slide into the US tariff-free through Mexican and Canadian supply chains. And both parties in Congress want to close that loophole. Fine, that's a real issue. But it doesn't require holding a $1 trillion relationship hostage for up to 10 years to fix essentially a customs loophole. Look, 6 years ago, this was the greatest agreement Trump had ever signed. This week, that deal that he designed is being rejected in its current form, the form that Trump wrote. Do me a favor, hit that notification icon because we are going to keep a close eye on our trade deals with our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, and I do not want you guys to miss any of it.